Hey flower folks, welcome to Share Inspirations. Today we're going to be talking about how to grow, harvest, fertilize along with vase life tips on Ranunculus. Now these things are grown from little wooden octopus looking corms, and you dip them in water for about 4 hours and then you put them down in the ground. In my zone where I am, in zone 8B, Southern California high desert, I sow them in the fall. I recommend that if you are anywhere zone 8 and beyond, that you sow them in the fall around October time frame, and if it cools down sooner for you, late September works also. Now, coming along to the colder zones, if you are watching me and you're in colder zones, like say 6 or 7, you can put them in unheated hoop houses in the fall as well. And if you don't have that, then you can certainly do them in the spring and harvest come late spring, because they need around 70 to 80 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees of temperature in order for them to come up, and they bloom when the daylight is around 12 hours. So those are a little bit of a tricky things as far as growing them. For me, they perennialize, come back every year. However, if you live in say southern zones where it's really wet and humid, they do have a tendency to rot. So you can do one or two things. You can either lift them every season, or you can just treat them as annuals and just plant them every fall and let them either go to rot and see if they perennialize or not, or if they don't, just basically treat them as annuals. A lot of people do that. So moving on to the second point, which is harvesting for the longest vase life. So these things have phenomenal vase life. If I cut them at this stage, this would last me around 7 to 10 days. If I cut it right here, this would last me about 10 to 12 days. And if I cut them right here and right here, this is about 12 to 15 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a cut. This is what I use to cut them. And this is a Bonsai Scissors. I will go ahead and leave a link below where to purchase this. I got it from Amazon. And this is a link that I have. It's about 8 inches, I wanna say. I'm going to go ahead and give it another cut right there. And to maximize on the vase life, I feel that this tool works very well because you're going all the way down. If you're using pruners, then you are unable to go ahead and obtain the longest stems because it would cut in the wrong spot for you. Alright, now coming to the third point, which is fertilizing. I use tea and coffee fertilizer, and I save this like in a old tea container, not tea container, I'm sorry, a old coffee container, and this is used tea and coffee. The entire growing season, I go ahead and put down the tea and coffee all around the plants in every single one of them, and it works like a slow release fertilizer because what you're trying to provide is nitrogen for green growth and phosphorus for root growth. And I don't do this when they're not growing, like when they're down in the ground. I don't fertilize. I only fertilize when every 2 weeks in the entire growing season. These tend to be cut and come again, so the more you cut, the more they will produce. A little bit of a somewhat difficult, or at least has a reputation to be difficult corm to grow. However, totally worth it. Again, a phenomenal vase life, beautiful colors, and if you are growing them in a hoop house, the stem will get even taller than this. So that was the video, guys. I hope you found it extremely helpful and it added value into your cut flower gardening, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.